Factory battery terminals on air-cooled Generac units are a known weak spot over time. Heat, vibration, corrosion, not a defect, just a compromise. You can't really fault Generac for it. If every manufacturer put Bentley-level parts on everything, the price point wouldn't make sense. Something has to give, and this is one of those places. What that shows up as in the field is slow cranking, charger issues, or intermittent electrical problems that come and go. A lot of times the battery gets blamed when the real issue is resistance at the connections. First step, shut the generator down. We don't want it starting or trying to start while we're working. Pull the 7.5 amp controller fuse under the rubber flap. Next, disconnect the T1 120 volt supply feeding the battery charger. Even though the charger output is low voltage, believe it or not, it's enough to arc to frame and take out the charger circuit. Grab a 13mm wrench, remove the negative battery cable first, then the positive. Now's a good time to clean the battery posts. Test the battery with a digital analyzer. Take a picture or screenshot of the results. We'll compare this later to verify the charger is actually doing its job once everything's back online. Cut off the factory battery terminal ends with proper cutters. Strip about 3/4 of an inch of insulation using a correct battery cable stripper. You can do it with a pocket knife. It does look pretty badass, I get it. Just know that when you're stripping high-strand copper with a knife, it's easy to nick or score the strands. That breaks copper, and broken copper means less current capacity. The right tool avoids that altogether. Slide the correctly sized adhesive heat shrink onto the cable before you do anything else. Give the copper a light twist to keep the strands together. Install the 4-gauge die in your hydraulic crimper. The cable itself is 6-gauge on these air-cooled units, but the terminal barrel is sized for a 4-gauge die, and that's what matters. Stage the new marine-grade tinned copper terminal in your crimper and ratchet it just enough to hold it. Insert the cable fully into the terminal. As you start pumping the crimper, make sure the cable stays seated all the way in. Once it's crimped, give it a few solid tugs. If it moves at all, it needs more crimping. It can't be loose. Bracing the crimper against something solid helps. Concrete makes life easier than soggy grass. Shrink the tubing with a battery-powered heat gun. Yes, it's slower than a blowtorch, and it definitely doesn't look as cool to the ladies, but an open flame can scorch the tubing, compromise the seal, and leave the job looking like it was finished like a campfire marshmallow. Save the flamethrower for the important things like cigars and fireworks. Repeat the same process on the remaining battery cable. Install anti-corrosion pads on the battery posts. Reconnect the positive cable first, then the negative. Terminal torque spec is 6 to 8 foot-pounds. Just use your judgment and feel here. Snug, not heroic. Reconnect the T1 charger supply. Reinstall the 7.5 amp fuse. Check the date and time in the controller. Before switching to auto, measure DC voltage at the battery with a multimeter. Compare it to the analyzer reading you saved earlier. You should see higher voltage now if the charger is working correctly. Apply terminal sealant spray if you have it. Reinstall the factory plastic battery caps if they're still around. Now, use that third hand of yours and pat yourself on the back for a job well done.